Last year's technology meets this year's design? Or does the Poco X5 have any chance against the 2023 smartphone storm? You're right. One way to find out. Let's inspect. Hey everybody, really nice to meet you. I'm Michael. On the channel we inspect a lot of cool and fresh tech, and in a matter of fact we do it together because I very closely monitor all your inputs and questions in the comments below each and every video, and also Facebook and Instagram. Now, the review. Today we're trying out this, which is the Poco X5, the first smartphone that Poco released throughout 2023, and if I may go a year ago, I was actually a little worried last year when reviewing the X4 Pro, but also the Redmi Note 11 Pro. These are two of the other Xiaomi sub-brands. Especially with the Redmi, I really have the feeling it's worse than the predecessor. Now, in this episode, we want to find out all the strengths, the weaknesses about the X5, how it compares against the X5 Pro, and is it better than last year's model, given the fact that Xiaomi actually use a very controversial system on a chip, but they bring 5G support. So, as a person who has been using Poco for a daily driver for almost 6 months, I can tell you that in terms of software experience there is not too much of a difference to the Xiaomi or Redmi devices. A fact is that Poco's lineup is among the most affordable smartphones these days, but did Poco lose its mojo? Still, if value is your top priority, the price is certainly attractive, and perhaps only Realme is gonna be able to match or beat this kind of pack, eventually. Seems like Poco played safe with this model, and since last year there was no regular edition, just the X4 Pro, this is exactly what I'm going to often compare it to. We open the box, a protective silicone case and some papers in the top compartment. Then we take out the phone. Besides the usual yellow or black colors, there also is the lovely looking blue model. Very slim, it is among the thinnest feeling smartphones. The frame and the back are plastic, keeps the phone lightweight and cheaper to produce and service in case needed. The design is decent, nothing surprising and nothing too disappointing. It weighs only 189 grams, which given 2023 standards belongs to the lighter phones with a big battery. It undeniably looks very similar to the recently launched in China Redmi Note 12 series, and indeed shares most of the same internal components. Although the system on a chip is different, Poco X5 is equipped with the Snapdragon 695, has octa-core CPU, 6 or 8 GB of RAM, storage configurations are up to 256 GB with micro SD card slot in case you want to add another up to 1 TB storage. The display is AMOLED with 120Hz refresh rate, a triple camera setup with the main being 48 megapixels, the battery is 5000 mAh and supports 33-watt quick charging. There's NFC, we also find an infrared blaster, a side fingerprint scanner, and the 3.5mm jack which wraps up the hardware specs walkthrough. There are a few little secrets which are staying behind all these numbers and specifications which I would like to address. Now, as a starter, Poco seemed to reuse last year's panel, and it's actually a very good panel. It's AMOLED display, very good visibility, excellent vibrance. You can see that the viewing angles are also pretty decent. However, the protection in terms of glass is just Gorilla Glass 3, which is a downgrade compared to last year's model. It's even less than what Poco X3 is equipped with, and that's a model from 2020. So that's something to be a little worried about. We have the Snapdragon 695, which is a rather controversial system on a chip, not because it performs badly. No, actually, the octa-core CPU there is good, but the NPU lacks some important features, and also the overall throughput and processing of data is not allowing the smartphone to support 4K video recording, something we're going to address in just a moment. In terms of battery, really surprising that in such a thin body, they managed to fit 5000 mAh battery. As for the charging speed, I'm gonna show you in a moment. And now we're going to begin doing what we do best, to thoroughly check the most important components. And first we want to pay attention to the triple camera setup. The main shooter that Poco X5 is equipped with is a 48 megapixel image sensor, but the actual specs of this camera are being kept as a secret, and it's hard to find much of information about the image sensor inside or the exact model. But we also know well that 90% of the photo magic happens thanks to the processing. And having a well-known image sensor means that Poco may be able to extract the most out of its qualities, which these photos kind of prove. It's great to see the progress of the MIUI camera app, especially with computing and AI-hungry tasks such as taking portraits. The low-light photography is also significantly improved. It's obviously not class-leading, but compared to one of the best smartphone cameras right now, the Google Pixel 7's main camera, it is doing pretty well. Sure, at dark, it lacks details and colors are not that great, but night mode of the MIUI camera app is still quite attractive. Video recording, on the other hand, is disappointing. Not that it's bad, it's just 1080p, 30 frames per second, without optical image stabilization, and I still think of the good old Redmi Note 9 Pro, which supports 4K in video modes. Just to mention, 4K is no longer a premium feature, it's something that each and every mid-range device should be capable of. 6K or 8K, fine, let it be a premium feature. The ultra-wide camera is acceptable if you take these photos at daytime. For sure, it's better in capturing photos than the DJI Osmo Action 3, the latter one is an action camera. As for the macro image sensor, this is yet another review where I'm gonna repeat that I find the 2-megapixel sensors being waste of space, money and marketing budgets because it practically has almost no value. A bit of front camera testing, and this is the Poco X5 in action, 1080p recording and good opportunity to try out also the audio capabilities of the smartphone. So what do you think? Is video good? Is audio quality good? Comment down below. Examining now the battery, and we already are looking at the charging speed of the 500 mAh inbuilt battery. It's hard to believe that Xiaomi managed to fit such a big battery in such a slim body. Given the rather battery-friendly AMOLED display, the very optimal system on a chip and the rather big battery size, endurance is remarkable. But we know that MIUI is not famous for decent standby times, and there are some areas which could be further improved. 33-watt wired charging is pretty good, more than 50% quicker than Google Pixel 7 for instance, but way slower than the 120-watt charging adopted by other Xiaomi phones. Furthermore, this is almost twice less than last year's Poco X4 Pro charging speed. If you want to see some gaming and multimedia samples, this is exactly what we continue with. The system on a chip is not that great in terms of performance, although it can outperform some other mid-rangers. If you don't want best-in-class gaming and are ready to settle with medium graphics in intensive games, this is a good choice. Furthermore, less details could mean less load, therefore longer battery life, which comes as a nice bonus. Social media apps run fine, playing videos and music is quite fun. Speaking of music, here's how the speaker setup sounds. The display is the other nice to have. 120Hz refresh rate just helps with nice feeling about games, but Poco have limited the refresh rate for some apps, so this feels kind of annoying. As for connectivity, 5G support is in place, good implementation of LTE, dual-band Wi-Fi, but it doesn't support Wi-Fi 6. Poco keep the Type-C USB connector, which is also limited down to USB 2.0 specification standard in terms of transfer speeds. There's a hybrid SIM tray where you can also put a micro SD card. There's an infrared blaster so that you can use the phone as a remote controller, and even a 3.5mm jack so that you can connect one of these old-school hands-frees. Software-wise, we speak of MIUI 13, which very soon after the release of Poco X5 should go to MIUI 14. At the beginning, it's still based on Android 12. Bunch of configuration settings, nice and snappy animations, you will almost never notice any drop frames. But there is a lot of bloatware. Just go through the app list and you're gonna see that there are a lot of unwanted apps like Amazon Shopping, Facebook, some games and so on. Close to 15 titles that you're gonna be happy to get rid of. Despite the thousands of complaints, Poco continue to do this again and again, and even some ads are gonna be shown while you install new apps. Something that is region-dependent, though. As for features, yes, MIUI continues to be one of the most feature-rich Android skins, with tons of customizations. However, if you don't like some of the implementations, there's pretty much nothing you can do. There obviously are a lot of reasons to like Poco X5, especially given the price point. The things that you may not like, in a nutshell: the lack of wireless charging, the not too fast wired charging, there is no official waterproof rating, and I wouldn't say that the system on a chip is that good. In the end, I really wanted to like this smartphone and gave it multiple chances. Truth is that if you're looking for a very slim smartphone with rather excellent battery capacity, with some typical for 2023 mid-range to low-end specifications, and a very attractive price, yes, the Poco X5 certainly delivers. But given the lack of hardware development and hardware innovations, I do think Poco are pushing you in direction seriously considering the X5 Pro, which is being released together with the regular X5. Because if we look through all the specs, you would hardly find good reasons to upgrade even from the 2020's Poco X3, probably with exception for the 5G support. So what do you think? Do you like this new Poco device? Do you think it could be considered as an upgrade from a previous generation? And do you like the overall spec sheet? Let me know, comments are down below the video. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to monitor everything you say and respond to you as soon as I can. As usual, more information about the product itself, way to order it, and more information about how you can support my work here on the channel is listed in the video description area. Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode. Thank you in advance for subscribing to the channel and giving us a like, and I wish you a great one. See ya.